We've chosen the window, the stained glass window, that is a memorial to the murdered brethren who were murdered during the course of the most recent troubles in Northern Ireland. It's antique glass. It is the old tradition of leaded light window making, so it's a very traditional form, and it is probably the most colourful object and artefact that we have within the museum. Well, back in 2006, the Grand Master established a committee to look at the number of Orange men and women that had been murdered during the course of the Troubles, to ensure an idea of statistically the evidence associated with the numbers. At that point, we were aware of about 286 members as having been murdered, and that came on the back of a piece of research that was conducted by the newsletter and a supplement entitled Orange Victims Tribute. And we identified on the back of that piece of research that we hadn't all of the information in relation to the murders. We knew the figures weren't right, and we knew some of the facts and information that was in that publication just were incorrect. So the Grand Master then decided to form a committee that would look at furthering that research, to extend to that, and to look at ways as to how we as an institution could remember those who lost their lives during the course of the Troubles. And really the window is a development from that. There are three critical aspects. The memorial stone is in the front of the building, the window behind me, and we will be establishing and developing a memorial book in the very near future. The window was self-funded by the institution and its members, so badges were created, they were designed and created based on the central theme of the window, that being the cross and the orange rose. Now, the cross was chosen by the committee as their symbol for their work, simply because the cross is the most common symbol associated with Christ's death and suffering on the cross. White was chosen and was deemed to be symbolic of the International War Grave. And then the rose in the centre of the window, that was developed and designed from Martin Luther's rose, Martin Luther being the great reformer, and coloured orange and the purple star included. And those key aspects of that design came from the Boyne Standard flag. And then this particular window was funded by an additional badge, and we modified the previous badge and added a ring of poppies to it, and every badge sold went to purchase the window behind us, of which cost £15,000. When thinking about the design and the possibility of some of the key features of the window, we felt it was important that the window was to be reflective in the sense that we are looking to the past, but not in a negative way, looking to a past to iconic images really. And so the designer, in cooperation with the designer, we opted for and agreed on the Giant's Causeway, because everybody in civic society in Northern Ireland, indeed Ireland, recognises the Giant's Causeway. But looking forward to the future, we felt that the most iconic image was that of Titanic Belfast, a fantastic structure, like a flagship building that was really looking to the forward thinking progression of a shared future civic society. And so we chose it as well as the piece looking forward to the future. And of course, it's ironic as well that the only third-class passenger to perish on board Titanic was an Orange man from County Down, and his name was Thomas Rowan Morrow. We tried to keep the design very simple and straightforward. If you take a very quick look at the skyline, we give the designer a brief that we would like to see him try to capture 4 seasons in one day, principally. So he's captured in the skyline, because in the morning here in Northern Ireland it could be winter time, in the afternoon it could be spring. So that was captured very well. The landscape itself, we eventually chose the Belfast Hills, of course, Napoleon's Nose in particular. There was a bit of debate about that. Our representation from County Fermanagh would have liked to see lakes, and County Down folk would have liked to see the mountains of Mourne. But we strategically thought about it and thought, well, the building's in Belfast, and so we opted for the Belfast Hills. There are some very hidden design features. For example, you will see diamonds, orange diamonds throughout the window, and 12 are included there. Well, each diamond is a reminder of the Battle of the Diamond, after which the Orange Order was founded in 1795. So it was quite an inclusive window. And it was not only to be a memorial to the members who were murdered during the course of Troubles, but also to be inclusive in the sense that this window was about remembering the sacrifice of so many people for their country. The text of faithful unto death is there within the window, and it's very subtly in the window. It's not really in your face either. And it's a piece taken from the Tullyvallen Lodge Memorial in South Armagh. Faithful unto death is simply taken from the book of Revelation and just means what it says, that all of these members that we remember faithfully were faithful, not only to themselves and to their families and friends, but to their country. And we thought it was the simplest form and the easiest way to remember them faithfully forever. We have a critical stake in the dealing with the past debate, and a lot of those issues around the murder of loved ones is still very raw and very sensitive and is very emotive. So we too were apprehensive and very nervous about the window, because number one, would it be appealing? Was it sensitive? And had we dealt with the design, the concept and the installation in a sensitive way that would be, I suppose, agreeable to the families? And thankfully to date, we have had nothing only but praise for the window, simply because of its simplicity, because of the contemporary feel of the window, and because, in a sense, the families believe that for the first time in their lifetime, that their loved one is remembered now forever, and not in a way that will be offensive to anybody, but it's very inclusive in that there's no typical symbolism, or there's no type of emblems there, but it's all about the country, the land where their families came from.